The Essential TEFL Survival Guide. Lesson 6. Reading Activities. Why do we read? Okay, so first of all, let us have a think about what motivates us to read in the first place. Here I've laid out 3 reasons that I think motivate us to read. Can you think of any more? Number 1, factual reasons. For gathering information, looking at the news, or research for projects. Number 2, pleasure. This is probably the most common reason that anybody reads. We read for fun. We read for entertainment. We like novels, comics. We like horror genres, romance genres, thrillers, and so on. Number 3, necessity. This is going to be the most common reason that young learners will read. It's because they've been told to, by a teacher or by a parent, or they need to know the information for an exam to pass it, or even they need to know the rules of a game to play it. Have a think here. What else can you do to motivate your students to read? What else can you do to stimulate their want to participate? Pre-reading activities. These pre-reading activities are a great way to stimulate interest and energize the students before doing a reading. As well as this, you can help build context and creative thinking before starting. Number 1, 5 context questions. This is a nice easy activity to start with. The teacher will prepare 5 questions and hand them out to the students in pairs, in groups, or even as a whole class. The questions themselves will be based on the topic, and they'll be open questions designed to stimulate interest and creative imagination. Questions like, what do you think about earthquakes? What do you think will happen if there's an earthquake in your city? And so on. Number 2, say what you see. If you have a picture, this is the best time to use this activity. You can show the picture to the class up on the board, or if they have them in the books, get them to open their books and look at the picture. You can put them into teams or groups, and you can just get them to call out things that they can see in the picture. I can see a bridge. I can see a car. I can see people. There is a man walking on the street, and so on. Number 3, title breakdown. This is a very good activity to again build motivation and build interest in the coming topic. If the title is Earthquake in Japan, you can look at the word earthquake and get them to think of words that they associate with the word earthquake. Words like scary, disaster, destroy would be good words to associate with earthquake, and you can assign points for each decent word given. Number 4, imagine first. After they see the topic and the title and the picture, get them to imagine what's going to come next. Okay, here you see a picture of an earthquake and the disaster. What do you think will happen in the story? Teacher, I think they will talk about Japan and how much the earthquake cost. Okay, good. I think they'll talk about Japan and how many people died in the earthquake. Okay, good. What do you think? And so on and so on. You're stimulating interest in the topic to come. Number 5, selected words. There are a few different ways you can do this, many different variations of this particular game. You can assign some words to each of the groups, and when it comes up in the reading, then they have to circle it or say that they saw it. As well as this, you can allow them to give you a list of words or write a list of words on the board, and if they come up in the reading, they will get points for them. Number 6, true or false sentences. This is very similar to selected words. You can assign some sentences and you can get them to decide if they're true or false before they read the passage. And then when they read the passage, they can come back to the questions and decide if they were right or wrong. Number 7, give task. This is where you would assign some tasks to individuals within the groups. You could say, Mary, you are going to find all the verbs in the passage. Okay, Tony, you're going to underline all the adjectives. Okay, Mike, you're going to find all the people, and so on and so on. Number 8, guess the topic. This is for the older learners. This is for the students who are going forward for their IELTS exams. Guessing the topic would be things like main idea, theme, thesis. You can get them to think about it before they read the passage and then afterwards decide how close they were or if they were right and if they were wrong. Number 9, gap fill. This is much like Mad Libs, where you give them a passage that's got some gaps within it. They can fill it out beforehand, and then when you read the reading, they can refill it in and see where they were right and see where they were wrong. Number 10, assign debate groups. If you've got a controversial subject, such as hunting, you can assign groups beforehand and get them to come up with some ideas against or for. And then afterwards, you can have them have a debate or a discussion or pose questions to each other. Number 11, knowledge activation. This is simply giving them some extra information about the topic. If you're going to talk about an earthquake in Japan, you can give them a little worksheet about earthquakes worldwide. Or you can look at some videos about other earthquakes in other countries to give them some ideas and context about what's to come. Okay, so there are 11 pre-reading activities for you to try out. Now, can you think of any of your own? A lot of these activities have many variations, ways to change them to make them slightly different. I'm sure you can find others.
The main point here is we want to whet the students' appetite and build interest in what's to come. Contextual understanding activities like picture analysis or title breakdown can have multiple positive effects for your students. Firstly, it helps enforce creativity, sentence construction or word building, while at the same time motivating the students to think more about what's to come in the reading. Doing this before you look at the main bulk of the passage should help encourage your students to want to read and discover what's to come next.